Be blessed by the divine. Story of my life by Sri Vedatri Maharishi, Chapter 23, Service and Renunciation. 3 questions beset me in my younger days. The first was about God. Who is He? Where and how does He exist? How could one find Him? The second was about life. What is life force? Where does it come from? What is its state before birth and after death? The third was about poverty. What is the cause of poverty? Is it something natural or is it man-made? Is there any way to eradicate poverty? If so, how are we to set about it? Before I reached my 35th year, I had found clear and unambiguous answers to these 3 fundamental questions. God or truth is the reality in all manifestations. Akash or energy particle is the first manifestation of truth in the evolutionary cycle. The other manifestations are the 4 elements, that is, air, fire, water and earth. They are only associations of Akash, energy particle, in varying degrees of intensity. That which is energy particle Akash in the universal field emanates magnetic energy in all manifestations, transforming itself into sound, light, taste and smell. The very same energy particles with sensing ability is functioning as life energy in all life forms. Life energy in its projected state becomes the sensing faculty. In its highest development, it blossoms forth as consciousness. Nature is omnipotent and omniscient. There is no deficiency in any aspect of nature. From birth to death, all the facilities and requirements for all living beings are provided by nature. Therefore, nature cannot be blamed for poverty. Through his experiences of pain and pleasure, his hard work and intellectual ability, man learned to enjoy the natural resources after giving them an artificial shape and artistic beauty. Poverty results from man's ignorance of the law of nature and dignity of work. He can lead a prosperous and peaceful life if he understands the nature of God and of life and the value of intellect and labor. All poverty and suffering in this world is due to the majority of human beings living in ignorance and oblivious of their duty, which only a small minority are duty conscious and do their work sincerely. Even though the one omnipotent truth has manifested itself as life and consciousness, it gathers imprints of sins because it gets entangled in sensual pleasures and functions in a state of delusion. All men are endowed with the reasoning faculty, and if only they realize these fundamental truths, the individual and the community can live happily. Man is an integral part of the community and is expected to live in harmony with others, always prepared to help those who are in need. Otherwise, his actions will violate the rights of others and bring about suffering and sorrow. If mankind has to live in peace, everyone, whether he has attained realization or not, must regulate his life in such a way as to not cause pain to himself or to others, to the body or the soul, in the present or in the future. The paths chalked out by men of realization for leading such a life are known as religions. Only such men introduce laws through governments to punish and correct those who stray from the righteous path. Yet governments and religions have not so far succeeded in ensuring peace on earth. The reason is not far to seek. It is because men of realization have not been entrusted hitherto with the responsibility of running the government. After having discovered the answers to these fundamental questions, I asked myself as to what I should do under the circumstances in which I was placed. Men differ from one another due to variations in physical strength, in intellectual ability, in the color of his skin, in the wealth that he possesses, and in the power and influence that he wields. In spite of all these differences, one has to remember that every man is the product of the society and all his capabilities, whether they are meager or abundant or a gift of the society. When man comes into this world, he brings nothing with him. From the moment of birth, the journey towards death begins. The period by which death is postponed from the hour of birth is known as life. Whatever talents a man is endowed with during this interval between birth and death, all of them are donated to him by the society, and hence it is but just that all his life he has to go on repaying this debt by utilizing his talents in the service of the society. Such repayment is known as selfless service or nishkamiya karma. For when one is engaged in such a service, he desires nothing and expects no return. But when an individual looks upon his service as an investment, calculates and expects a return for the service rendered, it is not at all real service. It is only a selfish act which can never bring him abiding peace. When one performs nishkamya karma and thus serves the society in a spirit of detachment, it is known as renunciation. Those who practice this noble type of service are the real servants of the society, the ideal social workers, the perfect sannyasins or ascetics. If an individual's sphere of service is confined to the limited circle known as the family, he is known as a householder. If the sphere of service embraces the whole of mankind, he is known as a sannyasin. Hence, the real criteria for differentiating a householder from a sannyasin is not attachment or non-attachment, but selfish or selfless service. The correct yardstick should be whether the sphere of service is limited to the individual's family or extends to the entire human family. In both cases, whether the individual is a householder or a sannyasin, service has to be flawless, without attachment, and should be performed in a spirit of renunciation. Such renunciation is the perfect state of consciousness achieved by the actualization of self, which is otherwise called realization of truth. Story of My Life by Sri Vethathiri Maharishi will continue. Visit simplifiedkundaliniyoga.com. Attend our Kundalini Awakening workshop. Be blessed by the Divine.